Bruce Willis became one of the most recognizable faces in modern cinema, especially after his breakout role in Die Hard. What made him different wasn't just his toughness, but the way he blended humor, vulnerability, and grit into his characters. He didn't play invincible heroes, he played real people pushed into extraordinary situations. That relatability changed the action genre forever. Audiences saw someone who could bleed, struggle, and still stand up again. His presence shaped an entire era of filmmaking, influencing countless actors and filmmakers. Over time, his performances became more than entertainment. They became cultural touchstones. But while his on-screen image remained strong and resilient, subtle changes were beginning to take place in his personal life long before the public became aware. The subtle changes no one could ignore. Before any official announcement, there were quiet signs that something wasn't quite right. On film sets, Bruce began to rely more on structure. Dialogue was shortened, scenes were simplified, and production teams adapted in subtle ways to support him. These changes weren't dramatic enough to spark headlines, but they were noticeable to those working closely with him. At home, the shifts became more personal. His wife, Emma Hemming Willis, noticed small pauses in conversation, moments where words didn't come as easily as they once had. These weren't alarming at first, just small disruptions in familiar patterns. Friends and family chose patience over concern, offering support quietly. In those early days, there was no panic, only a growing awareness that something deeper might be unfolding beneath the surface. Living through uncertainty. As time passed, those small moments began to form a pattern. What once felt like isolated incidents slowly connected into something more consistent. The family found themselves navigating uncertainty without clear answers. Instead of rushing to conclusions, they chose to stay grounded and supportive. Their focus was on Bruce, not speculation. They adjusted their interactions, slowed conversations, and embraced patience. Laughter still existed, though it came in shorter bursts, often carrying a sense of nostalgia. Each shared moment became more meaningful. The uncertainty was difficult, but it also brought the family closer together. Rather than fearing what they didn't know, they focused on what they could control, creating an environment filled with calm, understanding, and reassurance, while quietly searching for clarity behind the changes they were witnessing. A diagnosis that changed everything. Eventually, the uncertainty gave way to answers. Bruce was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a condition that affects communication, behavior, and personality. The diagnosis brought both relief and heartbreak. It explained the confusion, the pauses, and the gradual changes they had observed. At the same time, it forced the family to confront a new reality. This wasn't something temporary. It was a life-altering condition. Understanding the diagnosis allowed them to reframe the past. Moments that once felt puzzling now made sense. But with that clarity came the emotional weight of what lay ahead. Their focus shifted quickly from questioning to adapting, ensuring that Bruce would be surrounded by stability, care, and dignity in every step forward. A family united in strength. When the family decided to share the news publicly, they did so together. Demi Moore, Emma Hemming Willis, and Bruce's daughter spoke with one voice, choosing honesty over silence. Their message wasn't about seeking sympathy, it was about creating understanding. They wanted to explain what was happening in a way that respected Bruce's dignity while also helping others. This unity didn't happen overnight. It came from months of private conversations, shared fears, and emotional preparation. Each member of the family brought something unique: strength, compassion, and perspective. Together, they formed a support system rooted in love. Their public statement reflected that bond, showing the world that even in the face of uncertainty, they were standing together, committed to facing whatever came next as one. Emma Hemming Willis, and quiet leadership. In the midst of everything, Emma Hemming Willis emerged as a steady and compassionate voice. She took on the responsibility of communicating with the public while protecting Bruce's privacy. Her approach was careful and thoughtful, sharing enough to raise awareness, but never so much that it compromised his dignity. Over time, she became an advocate for families dealing with similar conditions. By speaking openly, she helped bring attention to a disease that many people didn't fully understand. Her strength wasn't loud or dramatic, it was consistent and grounded. At home, she focused on creating routines and a sense of calm, ensuring Bruce felt safe and supported. At the same time, she acknowledged her own challenges, reminding others that caregiving is not just about strength, but also about vulnerability and resilience. A legacy, seen through a new lens. Bruce Willis built his career on characters who faced danger head-on, but his diagnosis gave people a new way to look at his work. Films like Die Hard were no longer just action-packed stories, they became reflections of a deeper kind of strength. Viewers began to notice the vulnerability in his performances, the quiet moments that revealed emotional depth beneath the toughness. Critics and fans alike started revisiting his films with a new perspective, appreciating the balance he brought to his roles. He wasn't just portraying heroes, he was showing what it means to endure, to struggle, and to keep going. This shift in perspective transformed his legacy, highlighting not just his success as an actor, but his authenticity as a person. Why their story matters. The decision to speak publicly about Bruce's condition had an impact far beyond Hollywood. It brought attention to frontotemporal dementia and helped people understand the challenges it presents. More importantly, it gave a voice to families experiencing similar situations. Many found comfort in the honesty of the Willis family, realizing they were not alone. By sharing their story, they turned a deeply personal journey into something meaningful for others. Their words encouraged open conversations about health, caregiving, and emotional resilience. In doing so, they helped replace confusion and stigma with understanding and compassion. Their story is a reminder that even in difficult moments, honesty can create connection and support where it is needed most. A story of love, not loss. In the end, Bruce Willis's story is not defined by illness, but by the people who stand beside him. His family's unwavering support shows how love can adapt in the face of change. Their journey is not about loss, it is about presence, patience, and connection. Through every challenge, they continue to show what it means to care deeply and stand together. Bruce's legacy remains powerful, not just because of the roles he played, but because of the life he lived and the relationships he built. His story reminds us that true strength is not just about facing the world alone, but about allowing others to walk beside you when life becomes uncertain.